Imagine sitting across from a parent, tears in their eyes, asking, "Where did we go wrong?" They just found out their son had transitioned, and now their daughter was convinced she was pansexual. As a pastor, this wasn't the first time that I'd encountered a family in crisis like this. But let me tell you, it never gets easier. But here's the thing. After years of ministry and walking through these painful journeys with parents, I've learned something important. It wasn't just my role as a pastor that allowed me to help this family. It was the truths I learned from the ideas we're going to talk about in this video. So how did we get here? How did our society move so quickly from asking, can men and women just be friends, to conversations about transitioning gender fluidity and pansexuality? In today's video, we're going to unpack these complex issues, and I'll share how understanding them helped me pull a young girl out of a web of lies that she didn't even know she was caught in. Now, before we dive in, let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Jack Mumford, and I've spent over a decade as a pastor, a police chaplain, and a Christian apologist. I hold a doctorate in ministry, and my focus has always been on helping families, especially parents, navigate these difficult cultural waters. I've walked with families through the toughest moments of their lives, when everything feels upside down, and I've helped them find clarity, truth, and hope. What you'll hear today isn't just theory, it's what I've seen work in real lives with real struggles. This video series draws on those years of experience and on the resources and research that have equipped me to help people break free from the confusion they face today. If you're watching this and you feel lost, I want you to know there is hope. Now let's dive into the heart of the issue. To understand where we are, we need to understand the modern self. Carl Trueman, in his book Strange New World, explains this concept called expressive individualism. It's the idea that each of us has a unique core of feelings that we must express to be true to ourselves. Expressive individualism holds that each person has a unique core of feeling and intuition that should unfold to be expressed if individuality is to be realized. But here's the problem. When our feelings become the ultimate truth and we base our identity on those feelings, it can lead to confusion, especially in our children. I remember speaking with the daughter of that same family. She was convinced that her feelings defined who she was. It was heartbreaking because she was struggling with desires that she couldn't explain. This is the world we live in, where our kids are told that their identity is found in how they feel, and that no one, not even their parents, can question that. This strange new world is indoctrinating our children with a built-in mechanism that insulates the bad ideas from being discovered and removed. But is that really true? Are we not allowed to question someone's deeply held personal feelings? The sexual revolution, identity, and desire. Another key piece is the sexual revolution. As Trueman explains, the modern self is also deeply tied to our sexual desires. The idea today is that if your identity is defined by sexual desire, then to be authentic, you must act out on those desires. And that's exactly what the daughter of this family thought. She believed that to be authentic, to be true, she had to live out her desires. But something inside of her didn't sit right. She was confused, conflicted, and overwhelmed by what she was being told. And as I listened to her, I realized she didn't even know where these desires were coming from. This is where the sexual revolution has left so many families, parents, asking, where did we go wrong? While their children are convinced that the only way to be true to themselves is by following desires they don't fully understand. But before I continue the story, let me ask you, what if the feelings and desires our children are chasing are not the path to authenticity, but instead the source of their confusion? In a moment, I'll share how this young girl broke free from the lies she was trapped in. But first, we need to talk about one more piece of the puzzle, what Trueman calls the social imaginary. Now here's something most of us don't realize. The way we view the world, what Trueman calls the social imaginary, is shaped far more by culture than by rational arguments. It's intuitive, it's something you feel, it's emotional. And for many of our kids, their views are being shaped by the media they consume, the influencers that they follow, and the friends they talk to, not by their parents, not by truth. The way we think about the world is not primarily by way of rational arguments based on first principles. It is much more intuitive than that, and it involves far more than books and arguments. Think about that for a second. Our children are being shaped by forces that go far beyond books and arguments. The social imaginary is what makes gender identity and sexual expression feel so normal, so unquestionable in our culture. And that's exactly what this young girl was up against. She wasn't just wrestling with her own feelings. She was being bombarded with cultural messages that told her she had to follow them. But here's what happened next. I sat with this young girl, and as I spoke the truth in love, I could see the weight lifting off her shoulders. We didn't start telling her what was right or wrong. We started with understanding how she got there, how the modern self, the sexual revolution, and the social imaginary had shaped her beliefs. What had friends, siblings, YouTube, and TikTok sold her? And was it good? Was it true? Was it beautiful? Through weeks of counseling, she began to realize that her desires didn't define her. And more importantly, she learned that truth isn't found in following every feeling that comes her way. She broke free, not because of anything I said alone, but because of the truths I learned from the very ideas in this video series. And here's what I want you to know. If you're a parent struggling with your child's new identity, you're not alone. The world may tell you that it's hopeless or that you should just accept it. But there is a way out. It's about understanding the times and responding with wisdom, love, and truth. And that's why we created Culture Compass. If you're feeling lost to this cultural storm, you're not alone. Culture Compass distills the most important books and ideas that can help you make sense of the challenges with quick summaries, actionable insights, and trusted guidance. These book summaries are free and will help you navigate these troubled waters. This month's Culture Compass, we've condensed Carl Trueman's book, Strange New World. Sign up today by visiting our Dr. Jack Mumford Facebook page or clicking in the description to start navigating these issues with confidence. My goal with this channel is to help you think in unthinkable times, so you're prepared to say the quiet part out loud. Thanks for watching Quiet Part Out Loud. Remember, the truth isn't always loud, but it can't be silenced. Stay faithful, keep speaking the quiet part out loud. See you next time, and God bless.